Hi, friends. Before we get into today's episode, just a quick reminder that Anji and I will be in the Pacific Northwest at the Helium Comedy Club in Portland, May 23rd. And then on Friday, we will be going up to Seattle at the Hereafter, May 24th. So please get tickets. All the links are on our socials, on our regular socials and our pod socials. So see you there. Bye.
Now, we're not one to be like all up on the news. I mean, like I catch up on the news, but like I don't really care. And I've just become so numb to the amount of news.
Sure.
But when we recapped the Tom Brady roast, people loved it.
Oh.
Or hated it. Either way, they were engaging. Y'all really most of the comments were like, "Oh, especially our Tom Segura episode, they were like, "Oh, this is the reason why Tom didn't get roasted. This is the reason why." And then the people are like going back and forth on the comments, which I love.
That's great.
Because that's something that you and I are organically interested in and excited about.
Absolutely.
And I know this is so stupid, but like I finally get why people do topical stuff. Because it's but why didn't we for so long?
Because we were banking stuff.
Oh, we were banking stuff.
Yeah.
That's why. Oh,
because I was pregnant, remember?
I forgot.
Yeah,
so it's hard for us to be timely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You were pregnant and we did take a big break. All right, great. But
for a while there, we were doing mostly topical stuff.
Yeah, and it was skewed towards like Asian American.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, now that we've, when we were together in LA, we got to get onto the Tom Brady roast and really talk about it and give our opinions. People were very excited about the opinions and also to just discuss in the comments.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they just needed a place to like talk about it. And that felt, I was like, oh, of course. That's what people want to do is engage, you know? And like...
The moments where Peter realizes how the world works is just like, it's so cute. It's so cute, actually.
So slow.
It's like, oh, look at this little boy figuring it out. Oh, look at
I
you.
finally got it, Mom.
Yeah.
Mommy, I figured it out. People want to engage with us. And some of you were saying how I think the most the hilarious comments to me were the comments that were like, who the fuck are you? And that really took me out because obviously the algo is finding them and they're like, why am I seeing this? Why am I watching the two of you?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you're commenting that, that means you watch the clip, like the 30-second or minute clip.
Oh, we gotcha. We gotcha.
And you were upset about it.
Good.
Enough to go into the comments and be like, who the fuck are you?
What did I just watch? I mean, that happens a lot to my clips too. People are just like, what did I just watch?
So we really want to do is confound the people of the internet.
The typical trajectory to fame is confusion and making sure people aren't sure why you're there. Yeah, that's the best way to go about it. So yeah, we're going to try out we're going to try out a segment where I think we used to do this before, honestly. I mean, we've been doing this for 7 years. We've certainly done a Hot Topics segment.
We have, but we have, but we stopped for a while because of the banking.
Yes.
You're right.
And I'm sure I'm sure we even have like a sound cue and visuals for it somewhere. You know what I mean? We are really churning out this content for you. Okay. And we're trying to figure out, we keep asking you, how does this taste? And you keep saying too salty. So we make it bland. And then we ask you to taste it again. You say too bland. So we add more salt.
Yeah.
So we're just trying
We'll get to the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah,
soon.
we're absolutely. So we're going to try out this hot topic segment. So what I want to talk about, because it is graduation season.
That's right. Pads and grads.
Yes. And people are in the commencement mode. It's actually very funny to me how different like various like graduations and like summers begin for all different kinds of institutions. It's like, can we agree on one?
Is it called a commencement speech?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they? What is it? Okay, again, I might be dumb, but doesn't commencement mean start of something, or is it the end of something?
Let's look it up. I mean, truly, I always thought it was the beginning of something.
Right.
Commence.
So let's commence.
Commence.
To a beginning or a start.
Mm-hmm.
A ceremony which degrees or diplomas are conferred on graduating
So it's the beginning.
students.
It's the beginning of their adult life.
That's what it is. That's what it really.
You're 20. You're 21. You're 21. You're starting your adult life.
You're starting your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, that's why it's called the commencement speech.
Yeah.
I always thought, I was like, why is it called that? But that makes sense now. Okay, so who are we talking about?
So it is commencement season, and there have been 2 commencement speeches that have really been making the rounds on social media for 2 very different reasons, both of which are sort of quite a bit of controversy. The first one is the Chiefs kicker. Did you see this?
The Chiefs kicker.
Yeah.
No.
The Chiefs
He's
kicker.
giving the kicker is giving commencement speeches. We don't even know his name.
I don't. Harrison.
Just know his
Oh wait,
position.
this is his thing. His name is Harrison Butker. Like it is truly.
No. Butker?
Yes, it's so funny. His name is Butker. I
Okay.
mean,
Unfortunate name, but he got a commencement speech deal. How much do you think those cost? How much is Butker getting paid?
how much moolah is Butker getting? I think. I wonder.
What college is this? Because
It was-
Harvard pays different than, University of Phoenix.
It was a Benedictine. It's like some sort of small.
That sounds rich.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if they get money. Maybe they conferred him with like an honorary diploma.
Ew. I wouldn't need
don't know.
money. I would need money if I'm doing a speech. I already have a diploma.
How about this? If you are giving a commencement speech, you don't need the money.
Oh, that's not true. Everyone needs money. No one's flying to fucking a Benedictine school. And
It's
be
in
put up
Kansas. He's already there, so he already lives there. So it's like it's just a commute. He's just
So
driving.
you're saying this? You're thinking this is for free? He's doing this for free?
Yes, he's either doing it for free or
Like
for
Conan
like.
O'Brien when he does his commencement speech, that's all free.
I want to say okay. So
Why would it be free though? Just for like?
you think it's like the same thing as a speaking engagement, like a TED Talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say
I
$250.
feel like that's a gig.
Let's say $250.
$250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Let's say something like that.
And it's usually like a 10-minute speech or something like that, right? Like
Yeah,
not
sometimes
even.
more. But like, yeah, let's say
my God.
let's say it's $250. I have no basis on why I said that, but that just feels like a nice number.
Great, $250,000.
Yeah, $250,000. And
Okay.
so Harrison Butker goes to this small university, and it starts off like a regular speech, right? Congratulating the graduates, looking forward to their futures, exciting about what the next chapter in their lives. And then it takes a crazy turn when he says that he wants to speak directly to the women in the class.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know those
And
moments
he's
where
a young guy. I just looked him up. He's
Yeah.
not like an older dude.
No,
He looks like he just graduated.
he looks like he's kind of like prime incel age.
That beard is really giving men's rights activists.
That's right. He's
It really is. Okay,
really.
so
He's
this is
into
where it's
men's rights.
turning.
And so this is the moment in the speech where you're driving along the highway and all of a sudden you realize you're wasted, right? You're swerving. You're swerving.
Oh, no.
And so he decides to address specifically the women in the graduating class, and he implores them. Right? He's like, I'm sure you are imagining your careers, the money you'll make, the promotions you'll receive. But I'm sure that the thing that you're most excited about is having children and having a husband.
Oh no.
Surely you girls can't wait to be mothers and wives. I know you all have these little diplomas, and I'm sure you will be a very good social media marketer. I'm sure you will be a great HR assistant. But what you really want to do is get married and have a child. And so then what he goes into is like, just stay in that lane. Become a mother and a wife. My wife did that for me, and it was the greatest gift. This is what women are intended to do. They are destined and preordained by God to occupy this space.
He
this
brought
is the
Allah
best
into
thing.
it. Oh my God, no.
I mean, it is really wild. And then even
is
crazier is that he invokes Taylor Swift lyrics.
No.
And he refers to her as my teammate's girlfriend.
How dare you? No one knows who you are. We literally said Chiefs kicker.
I mean, it's one of those situations where the doctor is a woman. Like that riddle is for this man. The doctor is a woman.
So this is a Catholic school.
Yes.
Right. So it's a conservative Catholic college.
Oh, I'd imagine it'd have to be.
Yes. And I guess they hired him because of his views.
Yes.
Now, how did the girls, the young women in the crowd react?
I have no idea. And honestly, if this is what these women want to hear from an attractive kicker in the NFL who refers to their saint Taylor Swift as his teammate's girlfriend, and they are in a space mentally to take that and go, good word choice. They're beyond me saving. My words are not going to reach that woman, right? She's pro-life deeply. She sees all abortion as murder. She thinks spilling your seed without inside of a woman is killing a sin. Like she's lost. Okay, she's lost in the sauce. I'm not trying to reach you. I hope you have a very nice life. I'm not reaching her. The internet, though, outraged. I mean, it's one of those things where there's moments where in culture you realize how far you are from some people, like ideologically, in terms of our realities. Right. And what feels so dangerous about this is that there is also a growing movement online and in person, right? Given how poor maternity leave, job security, like childcare, all of that, those systems not being in place in this country, and the way that abortion is being dismantled by state, this sentiment would have felt frivolous, fringe.
Yeah.
Easily dismissed. I would have called this a cockamamie dude. Yeah. Look at this freak.
Yeah.
But in light of all of this, this opinion feels so much more dangerous. It feels so much more mainstream.
Yes.
Because women are having to opt out of and they're like, oh, this is great. I would love to retire. But I don't want to retire and take care of, just be a mom and a wife.
No, I love to retire and not have a man bother me.
Thank you.
Hello, may I be alone?
That's all I want. Yes, I want to live a Nancy Meyers life. I want to have. I want a Nancy Meyers life.
Caftans and long sweaters,
red wine and white cashmere. Oh my God!
A perfectly rolled skinny doobie.
Oh my God!
By the ocean, girl, let me live.
I mean that is my preferred. That is my preferred version of womanhood, right?
Hello.
Nancy Meyers,
surrounded by beige.
Thank you. And soft fabrics, linens.
Cashmere.
I want ocean views. I want long walks on the beach.
Day.
Thank you. I want a romantic interlude that brings a little bit of adventure and a little bit of spark into my life. But it
possibly a risk.
Thank you. But it
doesn't completely change.
And it doesn't define me.
Yes.
I'm defined.
And no man will ever will.
Absolutely. Okay? I'm defined. I've already been drawn.
Yes, honey.
Shading is done. Thank you.
Sign your name. Picasso. I love it. Now, it's shocking to me that this player had the gall to go up there and say this, but I think the college, it makes sense for the college, right? And like, I don't know, like, there must be like tons of women who are into this.
Yes, this is what I'm saying is so
That's
dangerous.
It's
this
very
is the
dangerous
trad,
because
this is
like,
the trad wife thing that's happening, where women, because of how hard it is to be a working mother, are opting out.
Yes.
And instead, and again, I have nothing against stay-at-home mothers, like, because if that's what you want to do, God love you. We need you.
Yes.
We need you. We need you, because there has to be someone that is the stay-at-home mothers inside of my son's classroom are the ones that text me and remind me of things. You are important. You are the ones that are also co-parenting with me, because my husband cannot be dependent upon. But you are making sure that my son feels included. You are the one making sure he's packing a lunch, because you know he always. I mean, like, all of it. It's a community, and they are vital to it in the ecosystem, right? I'm not poo-pooing it at all. And also, most of those women also used to like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, his wife, Isabel, he quoted his wife as well.
Yeah.
This is the quote I'm reading right now. It said, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation.
Which is wife.
As a wife and a mother. Now, this bitch, Isabel, I mean, how funny would it be if she's at home, like, steaming? Like, what the fuck?
No. She's keeping it tight. She's keeping it right, and she is 100% amped for this. And that's the thing.
You're in trouble, Izzy. Please,
I mean,
we can get
blink
you
twice.
out.
Blink twice.
We can get you out. I want to be like the Harriet Tubman of like those wives. You know what I mean?
Taking them through the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, I really want to be like.
It's just a series of little
free.
gyms. It's a series of little gyms, which is it's like a little like workout place for babies. It's called Little Gym, and it's where they learn gymnastics. And we just take them through those. It's all soft, so they can roll and you can crawl across.
Gymborees, yeah, exactly. Once we lift that parachute up, we go run. They speed out of there. We know where all the surveillance cameras are. You know.
The big parachute. I mean, like, it is, because the thing again is like those women are important to the ecosystem, but this is the other part. I have seen and I know stay-at-home moms who have been forced into that situation due to circumstance and money, right? Time.
Yes.
And
societal pressure.
Because like they were like, sometimes when you have a child like a little too like at a certain point in your career where it's a little too early, right? And so you can't get back into it. You either are and you're like not that established, so like the money you're making doesn't justify the time, you know what I mean? Like you're spending away. So
also I imagine like a woman in her like late 30s 40s, first of all, grandma pregnancy, that they have if they stayed in their careers for that whole time, they've probably reached like kind of a VP, senior manager position.
Director, like something adjacent, right? Where they are permitted the time to go because they lead teams.
I would imagine, though, that those people are the first to be laid off because they're too expensive. Then they hire like the 19-year-old bitch out of college. You know what I mean? Like, because I would imagine like, it would be hard for any woman, young or old. You might have to like have the baby at 29, like perfectly like right in the sweet spot where like they can't replace you with someone because they've already trained you so much in this corporate, you know, whatever. But you're not making so like VP money, so they're like trying to like cut costs with you. You know,
I mean, I've heard it always. How about this? There is no version of corporate life as a woman having a child that you are safe.
That is in your favor.
That's in your favor. So, I mean, like, but I mean, I've seen some of these women that have that has happened to that didn't see this for themselves, and that kind of unhappiness is a type of hell and death that I don't think is discussed enough in our culture, because it is really dark. Right, and it is really sad, and people are always talking about the either extreme, like women that are like are stay-at-home moms or working mothers are trying to do it all, and how hard it is on both ends, and everyone's showing each other respect and trying to like give each other space, that motherhood can be all along the spectrum. But this is part of that spectrum too. Right, women that were forced into a stay-at-home position that didn't necessarily want to, and it is fucking grim. And there are women on the other end that are forced to make money because their husbands are making significantly less that hate that. So it's all of it is a spectrum. It's like this guy, the fact that he thinks that women are so universally like, it's so deeply misogynistic, I can't even compute.
It feels it's giving closeted.
And that is this is what brought me to this.
It's
I saw this
closeted man.
I saw this TikTok where it's this clip of him basically bashing Pride Month.
I read that.
Yes.
He said that have pride in your Catholic whatever. Not like the sin that we give an entire month to be proud of.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, she doth protest too much.
And then there's that, and then a woman stitched it and looked straight to camera, was like, didn't you get sucked off by a male cheerleader at Georgia Tech?
Oh my God. Are you serious? Oh my God. Allegedly. Oh, okay.
And
this makes so much sense.
I screamed. This is the thing. When people doth protest,
yes,
too much.
When you have a take like this, it's so the screams are coming from within the house. Like, we see you. The walls are translucent, honey. Okay,
it's a glass house.
Mr. Butker the bottom.
The bottom. Butt hurt. Are you butt hurt?
Why don't you go be gay for a month and then have your little gay rumspringer, and then come back and see if you're not you haven't come back changed.
I mean, they're also like being this misogynistic is also very classically gay. So like,
classically gay, because I know there are a lot of straight men that I find toxic that don't go overboard like this. When the overboard is usually a really big tell of like, ooh, you like a little ding-a-ling. you're like a little ding-a-ling. That's why he like said that about Taylor Swift, because he's sitting at home fucking crying to midnights. You know what I mean? Like, he is.
Oh my God, he loves an acoustic jam.
Yes, a singer-songwriter.
An acoustic marmalade. Like, I mean, truly, like, to be so intentional and psychotic about even a person on his team and show this level of disrespect. Yeah. Right? Because there is something about that must bother him, right? The fact that she has more money and power than him, he must not approve of either.
Oh, I bet not. No.
So, I mean, all of it is like, again, a couple of years ago, I would have cast this away as a fringe opinion. Yeah. But the rise of the trad wife, the rise of the abortion dismantling that is occurring in this country, and this like strange, have you ever seen this theory where like, because right now skinny and like Ozempic is kind of back, like the way that women are being required to take up less and less space physically is a reaction to this kind of shit. Like in the 90s, the same kind of oppression, the same kind of like, it was very like regimented. It was the level of misogyny in our culture. It was a direct backlash to the 70s and the 80s, because like in the 80s,
like
women were
and like burning
in
bras.
The 80s, women were big and had shoulders, and they were entering the workforce in a real way. In the 90s, we were like, make yourself small. And in the last couple of years with the BBL, this sort of like body positivity, the number of CEOs of like various women-led companies, there's something.
There's a bounce back happening. I mean, the most obvious version of this was post-Obama Trump, and
absolutely,
like, when the progressives push a little too far, the conservatives go, bring it right back. They grab our ponytails and yank us back. You know what I mean? So like we're in the yank right now.
We are in the mid yank.
Yes, we're mid yank. All right, let's move on to our second story.
The second one is Jerry Seinfeld's commencement speech.
Very similar vibe in that it's a conservative anti-woke situation. This one I've heard.
Yes, and I will say also.
This was at Duke.
This was at Duke, and
Yeah.
he was receiving an honorary doctorate in arts and sciences, I believe, or arts or letters of some kind.
Okay. So you probably did it for $200,000.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, Jerry. Don't you have enough? You're
Cheap.
full. You're full.
He does
Push
not
away
have
from the
enough.
table.
He does not have enough. He can't. Have you seen Unfrosted?
I can't.
I plead all of you to watch Unfrosted on Netflix. Here's why. It's the fucking Pop-Tart movie. You are watching someone who is so rich and powerful that they deem themselves an auteur. Meaning that they have specific artistic flourishes
Sure.
and stamps within their work, right? It's the most apparent version of egomania that I've ever seen, because the movie's written by him and like a couple of other writers, directed by him, clearly his tone and point of view. There are so many buttons and jokes in this movie that are so, I'm sorry to those who are lame. Like, loser, stinky. You know,
Apologies to those in our audience who are lame.
This
To
was
the
fucking
lame
lame.
community. To the lame community, we do apologize.
To the lame people, I do say sorry, but I have to call him. It was the most whack thing I've ever seen, but crammed. Whack. Okay? Faking the funk. This guy was out here. He really put in, like, you know those moments he does where it's like, Newman. You know those like Seinfeldian moments? Yes. He's stitching that through the movie as if the Netflix audience is going to be like, oh, wow, there's Seinfeld again. He's wanting that. And me, a Seinfeld fan, like a fan of the series, not so much the person, but the series, I'm like, go away. This sucks. Like, and it's in lieu of jokes. Like, there's
he's mugging.
Oh my God. You guys have to watch it because it's a cautionary tale. Ooh. And here, this might be an unpopular opinion, but Louis C.K., I think, is a comedy auteur.
Yes.
Okay? He's an artist. He has things to say via his life experiences that he wants you to understand him in that way. And
it's also very specific, like, cinematic language that he uses. Yes. He understands, like, visually what he wants. There is
emotional tension he's building.
And there's a clear through line from hilarious, even the specials have. And, like, when you watch Louis on HBO and the FX, there's a clear through line aesthetically speaking. I mean, that's the beginning of like
aesthetic voice
A24 shit. The way that color looks.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that is no
kind of like undersaturated.
Yes.
Cooler
but
tones.
You're talking about the ego and the brazen sort of audacity.
Audacity is the perfect word.
The audacity of wealth. To bestow upon himself the badge of auteur.
And how dare you, sir?
You know what? And that is sometimes that is what is permitted in unchecked capitalism, right? This is what is permitted. Epstein also had an aesthetic.
Oh. Which Epstein are you talking about?
Jeffrey.
Oh my God. I was like, wait, which Epstein? Are we talking about Hollywood films?
I mean, like, it's like, it's just, ego and money can afford you a lot of things.
A lot, including a commencement speech. So let's get to it. So he was at Duke.
He was at Duke, and a lot of students walked out at the beginning before he even spoke, which is what a lot of the coverage bit has been about, which I think is a little strange just because let these students live. Let them protest. Like, if they don't fucking agree with him because they don't like his views on Israel or Palestine or whatever they want to say, go off. Like, I think that is what students should do. If students aren't protesting what's going on in society, are they not being informed? Like, this is like a sign to me of a healthy sort of dialogue and ecosystem, right? There should always be this sort of unrest.
Yes.
We came up. This is what always bothers me. It's like we both came up during W, who was the original Hitler, right?
Like, I wouldn't say that, but yes, I agree.
I mean, like,
I was out there taking classes, electives, I mean, and it was a tense time. Young activism. Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I had friends that signed up for the military post 9/11 patriotism, and then we, on the other hand, we were protesting the School of Americas. Like, this is a sign.
I was out here writing papers about the dangers of a wartime president and how much of our rights are being taken away during a fake ass war, and this was obviously Dick Cheney run, but
yes,
W signed off.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. That's why I have no problems. Go off, students. Protest in whichever way you want to. The administration can do and should support you in any sort of way. Your parents are paying their salaries.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Shut up. So
you're allowed to fucking put up some fucking tents.
Absolutely. So this is what a lot of the coverage has been about, honestly, which is interesting, I'm sure, because it's kind of feeding into this like mainstream frenzy over the unrest on school campuses. It's happening right now at the university I teach at DePaul as well. Like, it's funny because the way and how shrill the conversation is nothing like what the actual protests are. Right?
Yeah.
It is.
I see that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
inflammatory.
Yes, it's absolutely inflammatory. And the students are doing what students do, which is like call into question authority and powers and protest the way that you should. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they should. So they absolutely should. So walking out a lot of the coverage. But the crux of his actual commencement speech was surprising and not bad. Like, I mean, his like things felt pretty like sundry and normal for most commencement speeches, like follow your dreams, don't try to make money, try to do something fun. But there is a point in his speech where he talks about the three things, which is like work hard, pay attention, and love everything, right? Fall in love. The fall in love, I thought, was a very interesting and good thing to go about. But there's this other part at the end which he talks about not losing your sense of humor, which I thought was particularly, like, that was sort of what stuck out to me a little bit. Like, it was, yeah, that was to me like a little bit of wisdom, like genuinely, to the students about how this quote is, "It's worth the sacrifice of an occasional discomfort to have some laughs. Don't lose that. Humor is the most powerful, most survival essential quality you will ever have or need to navigate the human experience." Now, it is in light of, truly, because he's talking about how, you know, he's like, the students now are working and striving so hard to have a more inclusive, fair and kind society. And his point was like that he admires all of that. He thinks that they will achieve it, but you will find, as people that were young, not literally yesterday, Peter and I were literally young moments ago. Yeah. So what you find is that as you age, is that like all the change that you made, it's not that it was worthless or meaningless, but that the world continues to get fucked up in different ways, right? It will be, there will be new problems and new injustices that is always, the onus is always upon the next generation. It's unfortunate truth, and it sucks. You know, it's not like we didn't try, but the humor of it, right? The being able to, I mean, I never recycled, but whatever.
I didn't do much. But anyway, yeah, as a population.
Absolutely. But the humor of it, which I thought was like a nice sort of way of calling into his specialty, and also reminding a little bit of the sort of in this sort of self-serious young activism phase of life, that it is important to always have a little bit of a sense of humor about what's going on, like about yourself, especially.
Yeah.
Like, to never take yourself too seriously is actually good advice. And the way that he phrased it, I thought was kind. And he wasn't trying to call out students for being like, because he also has said shit about like being anti-woke, which is problematic. But
just
I thought
recently.
Yes. And I will say that this felt like a good way of kind of
balancing
basically
that.
Yes, saying the exact, almost the same thing, but he was couching it in a more appropriate way, which actually
the message came through.
Yes.
Okay, great. So did the students walk out because of the speech, or because he is just supportive of what's going on with Israel?
I think because he had posted something right after the attacks. He's one of the people that signed that big letter. I mean, that's in August.
Like, they would have walked out on Amy Schumer.
Yes.
Okay.
And any Sarah Silverman, any of and there's only,
and you know what? Go then. Like, that's okay. You can walk out. Like,
and there
you're
were only
allowed to.
30. Only 30 of the 7,000 students walked out.
Yeah. Okay. So
I mean, yeah. It's just
listen. I don't blame them for walking out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I get it. You're pissed. Go off.
You paid all this
Korean
money.
barbecue. Yeah.
Thank you. Go home.
Yeah. You don't need to sit there and listen to someone you don't want to. Like, if during my I forgot who spoke at mine.
Get out of the parking lot early. Beat the traffic. Go.
Oh, honey, get out of the stadium.
Yeah.
I wish I did during my graduation. It was some stupid it was like some CEO of Xerox. Like, pursue your dreams. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't give a fuck about this.
Your dream was to copy? You wanted to Xerox?
Yeah. Dream bigger.
Yeah. You wanted a mimeograph? Okay, whatever.
You could have been FedEx Kinko's. Print in color, ho. But yeah, I get it. Like, I understand that. If you're young, you're pissed. If you're and I like the sentiment that Jerry said with like, have a little bit of sense of humor. But you know what? It's directly opposes young activism.
Absolutely.
That's just not where humor. There's a time for humor, and there's a time for non-humor and real action.
Sure.
And that's what the youngs are doing. And I get it. Like, that's their time. And also, I as you were talking, like, it takes a while to develop a sense of humor about the world. You know what I mean? Because when you're young, you just don't know yourself.
No.
I mean, not everyone. Obviously, some people are like born whoever the fuck they are, right?
With
but like,
deep trauma.
Yeah, that's why I feel like there are like reincarnation is a real thing, because like there are people who are born with like the trauma of the ages.
Yeah.
And like and some people are just born new. So like those people are the ones that
I was born used.
Humor used. You were born certified pre-owned.
Blue book value.
Yeah. KVB strong. Excellent value. But I understand both sides, and that's great. And here's what: if people walked out on my commencement speech and if it was 30 out of 7,000, I would not fucking care. I'd actually be stoked. I'd be like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of a rock star.
I mean, there's this moments right now. Did you watch the Kevin Hart, like, Mark Twain thing?
No.
So I don't know what's happening, and I guess Jerry's children have left the home in some way, because he is popping up everywhere. He's everywhere again. And it's so strange. Like, you were talking about the frosted thing. It's so strange to watch this person who was like at the center of culture.
Yeah.
It's like watching someone that literally was not only doing double Dutch, but also doing both ends and jumping in the middle, right? He was at the center of culture. And now watching him try to like get into
the culture. Yeah.
He cannot find the rhythm. He
can't find a way in.
He cannot. He is so out of step.
Yeah.
And it is 100%.
And also makes sense though, because he was never the comedian that was in step.
No.
Like in that way, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
He was never
like
hip. He was never
Harlan.
cool. Yes,
you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like staying on top of the thing.
Yes. Yes.
He was always like almost fighting against the wave of progress.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, oh, I'm gonna be a clean comic. I'm gonna do like what's the deal with airline food comic. I'm gonna be just the voice of observational comedy. He was observational comedy.
He created the genre.
Yes, pretty much.
I mean, truly,
or at
like,
least he like stamped it.
Yes.
So like, yeah, and he was never political. He was never like,
personal. Never.
So like, it makes sense because the culture changed. Like comedy as a culture has shifted from that,
Yes.
and he has not.
But I mean,
You know
like,
what I mean?
he's a
Like-
person living in the world. That's the part to
Not
me.
really. He's almost a billionaire. Like that's not a person.
Yeah, he is living in the
You know
clouds.
what I mean? He's
He
like
is
one of
living
the
in cloud-
gods.
Yeah, he is living in the
He's on Mount
he's-
Olympus, like looking down and be like, "What is that? An ant or an elephant?" Like you can't really tell from up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's
It's like
one
Ellen
of the minor.
trying to jump back in. Have you heard this? Netflix is really harboring all the greats.
Wait,
and
she's going to release a special of
special.
comedy.
uh-huh,
Stand up.
a stand up, and we must stand down because her whole thing is about being canceled, and she's back with a Netflix special, and she's complaining about being canceled, and then saying how now that she's a woman and a lesbian and old, she's gonna get canceled again. You know what I mean? Like that's her take. I know. It's really kind of like if I became that big, I would have trouble stepping back in, I think.
It'd be impossible. Listen,
It'd be impossible. My head is in a
listen,
different place.
viewers of this podcast, okay, if you're a Patreon member, you know that both Peter and I have truly lit our tiny little careers on fire. We've burned bridges in order to satisfy, like 30 to 50, depending on the month, Patreons. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what we're doing? Like saying shit that will get us canceled. What we're doing when you have nothing and still doing that for the pennies that we are getting, that's
Exactly.
brave. That's brave. That's comedy. That's shit that's bravery. This bitch doing this, coming out and like being like, oh, look at me about to get canceled again.
Yeah.
Let me go back into my cloud of cashmere, into the arms of my loving wife who's a fucking hot. I can't.
Who allegedly, I'm not, this is not even the Patreon, and I'm giving you tea. Allegedly, this is what I heard. Her gorgeous, perfect wife
Yeah.
is not allowed to eat unless she tells her.
Look at this freaky deaky shit.
Allegedly, they were at at like an Ellen after party, and a server brought her food, and she was like no, and she took the food and kept it and then fed it to her.
See, this to me is Jada Pinkett, Will Smith. Like this is the sort of
Like
mind
humiliation
control.
tactic
Yes,
shit?
like
Yeah.
something happening here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No.
I am a showbiz psychic, and I'm gonna say that I see Portia slapping someone on the stage of the Oscars in 2026.
Portia de Rossi is gonna finally lose it. This is why, guys. Like, you just can't get too big. You know what I mean? Like, I know the allure is there because if you feel like if you get big enough, you're safe,
Yes.
but you're not. You have to be like right in the middle zone. You know what I mean? Like, for example, someone who has like a perfect amount of power and career to me is like a Kristen Bell.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, not a movie star,
No.
but like a celebrity and a comedic actress and whatever in her zone.
That's
She
right.
does
She's not
very well.
Yeah, she's not an industry, right? She's not an industry. She's an Etsy shop. I want Etsy shop. I want to be an Etsy shop. I do not want to be an industry. I do not want to be Tina Fey. I do not want the private school educations of like 20 to 30 people, upwards of 50, depending on me.
No. That the pressure, I couldn't sleep. No way. No. I want literally the amount of success I want is a like long distance cousin to be worried about asking me for money. That's how much. You know what I mean?
You better be worried.
Because you know when you're
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, bitch. Because if you're Ellen, ain't no one worried about money. Asking
No
for
one.
money.
No.
This bitch is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Why would I be worried? You can't share?
Yeah.
But with Kristen Bell, I'd be a little worried.
Also, because I want the kind of money where like being a part of like the the Ponzi scheme, the Madoff Ponzi scheme, like it wouldn't affect my life. Like that's the level. I want to be making that kind of like I have the money to invest, but also it would severely impact my life if I was a victim of that kind of crime.
Boom.
You know, like with Ellen, it would not affect her. She'd be like, oh, a million here, a million there, whatever.
Okay. Sell one of my houses in Madrid. Like exactly.
But I want to be. That's a level I want.
So that's the lesson to learn from this episode. It's like, don't go too big, because too big to fail is not a thing. If you get too big, you're almost like likely to fail, or be taken down, or be whatever, because
it's just
people aren't going for people that are like in the middle.
But I mean, to me, it's like the need to stay relevant is what's so. I mean. Because if I was Jerry, I would just like do the gigs that I have. The need to be a part of the culture is what's so strange to me, because he did not have this kind of, he always had an ego, of course, but this ego where the relevance he's seeking in our culture is not only like 40 years late, but it's bizarre. Leroy David is more relevant. Larry David has so much more lockstep with culture.
Yes.
And he's fucking rich too.
And he's the one who wrote Seinfeld. So
I'm just saying, like, he was in it. He's been in it. He's in the mix. Like, it's different. Maybe it's because it's not ego. Like, I don't get the sense that he's like just trying to be a part of the culture. Like, he's not. He's looking at the double Dutch game and being like, okay, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna pick I'm gonna pick my nose over here. And it's like kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
also
the way to age. To be
I think
iconoclast.
Jerry probably has like, it's giving like early mortality fear. You know what I mean?
I forgot about this.
Because
do
once
you
you're 70,
do you fear death, Peter?
Not yet. I don't have enough to like fear death. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have enough to lose. I don't have enough to like whatever.
I don't fear death. I don't fear death.
I don't either. Like, I don't want to suffer, but like of non-existence.
Mm-hmm. I'm chill with that.
I'm chill with relief.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Sweet release.
Let me sleep.
I do not actively want to die.
No, I don't fear it.
I don't fear it.
No, I think I've done too many psychedelics to fear.
This is what I mean.
But we also have like this sucks, but like we also have like a healthy dose of ego. Whereas like I think if you have a fucked up ego like a Jerry or celebrities, you do fear death because your ego has blown out of proportion to the point where it has to survive. Egos have to survive, therefore fear death. So I think
then you're like a host to ego.
Yeah, it's a succubus.
Yeah.
That's like keep being relevant, keep saying things, keep being out there. And
Gollum. Yeah. Okay, I don't like. Yeah. But that's the part that's been strange to me. It's like this Jerry kind of reemergence, and I guess it must be a very powerful machine pushing him because of this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Strange. To me.
Strange. Another strange thing to close out the episode today was this bit of news I saw in the New York Times.
To me, this is so funny.
This is so fucking funny to me. The headline is How Things Went Wrong for the New York-Dublin Portal. Now, if you guys don't know what this is like a big like circular video that New York City, Manhattan, and Dublin installed as like a live video feed. It's almost like a 24-hour Zoom, if you will.
Yes.
And people are just like going up to it and being like, hi. And then like people have signs saying like free virtual hugs. Like really like in theory, very cute and adorable and like, oh, what a like life-affirming technological thing. But as we talked about a few episodes ago regarding AI,
Yes.
the internet, or any type of human innovation, things will err towards mess and chaos and absolute fuckery. So what happened was, almost immediately, the feed was shut down.
It was not even long. Yeah, it was immediately
shut down because from New York, a OnlyFans lady flashed her titties, which to me is hilarious because that's her job. So like she's out here marketing.
Also, America shit, right? Like that's awesome. Like go flash your titties, girl. Yeah. You got those huge heavy naturals? Yes. Go.
Yeah.
You show them how we're made. You show them what a made in America means, bitch.
Yeah. Those Sydney sweeties?
Yeah.
Get them out there.
Get those sweeties out there.
Yeah, let them do the least. And she so she flashed, which I think is hilarious because she's flashing Dublin. And Europe, as we all know, is not as like fucked up about nudity and puritanical stuff as we are, strangely.
I mean, there are titties everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like ugly. You know, like they're not trying to make them look nice. Like we're trying to make them so nice and then hide them under like our fucking bras or whatever. But like
it's true.
This girl flashed them, and then but people in Dublin started displaying images of swastikas and the World Trade Center burning and the tower being hit. Like someone put their phone up onto the camera and be like, "Hey, New York, remember this?"
It's like
it is portals.org is the official site. It is so fucking funny to me that people took something so like, we're gonna be like giving out hugs and like really like connect as humanity, and this one dude's like, "Hey, 9/11, never forget."
Steel beams don't melt. Like,
oh my god, it was an inside job. Like it was. And like, what did they think? Like, did the people who were coming up with this really not think that a 24-hour unsupervised Zoom is not going to become immediately chat roulette? Like, how would this not become chat roulette? Like,
this is what I'm saying. It's like, do you remember when the internet started and we were like, do you remember the movie Hackers?
Of course, seminal.
Okay, seminal, right? And like the sort of promise of the internet and of like the World Wide Web very specifically was that all information will be free. We will be free as a result. And the number one thing that people use the internet for is pornography. Like it is the promise.
Yes.
And the reality is always, humans will always show up.
Yeah. And be dark. That's what we do, right? It's so fucking crazy. So now it's shut down. They spent how much did they spend? 28.1 million? No, I have the wrong numbers. But they spent a lot of money on this because, especially to like have something connected for that long, is like it's a huge thing. So like the power to generate that is a lot too. So like, y'all, you tried it. A for effort, but you should have known better. You should have known that immediately when you put a camera randomly somewhere else that where any, especially if like young people could see it, there was gonna eventually be a creep that takes his dong out. And this is New York City. It happens in the subways. What are you doing?
It's New York City post-pandemic. This is not even. Have you been to Snapchat? Have you been to Snapchat.com? Like, what are you talking about? Also, not only is it young people, but it's all people. Like, what's crazy to me is that there aren't more people that flash Jumbotrons at sports arenas. It must be because they have to remain in their seat. And then after the people have to person next to them, like, oh, okay, I saw your titties. But like in this situation, it's almost the added part of it is the anonymity, right? Because it's just you and this image going out into the void. So you don't have any sort of connection with the person viewing the thing you're giving. So it's even more so. That's the reason why there's so much shit on YouTube. What did they think this was going to be? People were going to be like, hello, Dublin. Greetings from New York.
Yeah, but the thing is, there was no audio either, so you would just be looking. So it's just a visual medium.
So it's
you
like
can't
literally
really communicate anyway. Like,
so it's like the sci-fi like fantasy thing where someone rips open a thing and can see into a portal.
Yeah, and then the other side realized, and they're like, titties.
Yeah.
That was the.
And then the other person was like showing footage of 9/11. That kind of troll
And
that is so
thing,
funny.
Though, like,
I
it's
will say
unfair because it's
Dublin won. Dublin won.
Dublin did win, but by default, because nothing's. What can we do like that for Dublin? You know what I mean? Like dress up like a leprechaun. You know, there's not. New York City. They should have had like. Also, why Dublin of all cities? Like it should have been like New York and London, or New York and Paris, or like. Somewhere cool. Like Dublin's not cool. Like you're in Ireland. Look at your people. Like Dublin's the biggest city in Ireland. They're like, hey, Twin Towers. Like that's the best you could come up with.
I mean, it's pretty good, but
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
The roast. I mean, they are the most like what is the gift of gab
Savage.
and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The funniest and wittiest.
Yes, the Blarney Stone and all. I mean, yeah. I don't. I guess we could talk about the Queen. I was like, you know, I mean, this is the fact that they had to shut it down after investing. I mean, all of it is like the earnestness with which this project was started. The earnestness with like that they launched and unveiled this project, this art installation. I'm like, oh my God, look at the miracle. And like, it's almost like it's.
You can tell no New Yorkers were part of this creative process because every New Yorker would have been like, shut this down. This is going to get fucked up.
Because the earnestness of it is just, that's the part of it where it's like, there's nothing funnier to me than someone like who's like earnestly blowing up balloon and then you go pop, pop. Like
in your face, New York City. It should have been like, I don't know, like Milwaukee and like Edinburgh. You know what I mean? Like two like country ass places where like, I don't know. It would have gotten.
Would they gotten drunk?
They would have gotten bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? This is horrible.
There's
like,
no way to avoid it.
No, I mean, there is like, if as we wrap up, I will say this like reminds me of just to bring it back old school, like a former kick-ass Korean even, but like this really was sort of the beginning of the Namjoon-bak. You know, like the first, he was like a really revolutionary video artist, contemporary video artist who was Korean. And he's like the first to use the term electronic superhighway. And he basically connected all of these like TVs all around the world using satellites. And it's the first time an image was broadcast like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's
cool. I mean, and so to me that like that his sort of vision could be used in such a funny way is like such a gift. Like really ultimately this is a wonderful moment inside of the AAPI month as we close it out.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, another way to celebrate AAPI is to come check us out.
That's right.
May 23rd at the Helium Comedy Club in Portland at 8 o'clock. And
Seattle the next day, the 24th at 7 p.m. at the Hereafter Crocodile Lounge. So come out, you guys, please. We'd love to see you. Bring your friends. Tell your friends if you can't come. We're going to have a raucous show. We have some local openers. We're doing stand-up. We're doing show segments. We're going to do some crowd stuff. It's going to be fun. So come check us out. Thank you for listening and watching on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.